Senator Roderick Sinclair, member of the Upper House, my dear brother Senator Matthew Joseph, the chairman of this morning's proceedings, Mr. Leo Cato, chairman of GCNA, Mr. Reginald Ander, Country Representative Cardi, Mr. Derek Charles, National Specialist, Inter-American Institute for Cooperation and Culture, ICA. Directors, no, but let me also recognize former Senator Ingrid Rush, who I see with us here this morning. We must always recognize our former senators. In fact, in the US, they would still be calling you senator. Directors, Grenada Cooperative Nutmeg Association, nutmeg farmers, observers, management and staff of the Grenada Cooperative Nutmeg Association. I see my brother Adrian Thomas here. He's the properties manager, the man responsible for what you call your assets. Especially invite Pastor Christopher Williams, member of the board and chairman of the GCA. Specially invited guests, media. Let me begin by extending sincere thanks to all farmers in Grenada for welcoming me so warmly into the agricultural sector. Deepest gratitude also goes out to the management and board of directors of the GCNA for being so gracious in being one of the first organizations to meet with me and offer its support as I entered this industry, which in my view is the most important pillar of our economic development. Since being assigned this very important responsibility as Minister of Agriculture, I've embarked upon an exciting journey of learning and discovery. A journey that made me realize just how important agriculture is. Not only is agriculture critical to the livelihood of thousands of Grenadian families, but it also forms the foundation on which our national development lies. And the nutmeg and nutmeg farmers are central to this. As my brother Cato said, it's on the flag, but also we must all know that the parliamentary building is constructed when you get inside in the shape of a nutmeg. Ladies and gentlemen, comrades, brothers and sisters, thanks for inviting me here this morning so I can share my perspectives with you. I want to thank the immediate past holder of this office, Sister the Honorable Yolande Bain Horsford, and ministers of agriculture that preceded her for laying the foundation on which I seek to build a better and more productive agricultural sector. Permit me to congratulate your General Manager, Senator Sinclair, on his appointment to the Upper House of Parliament to represent you. I have heard his many constructive observations, his very insightful criticisms, and his very positive recommendations. In fact, I have had to rethink some of my own ideas following his presentations. I want to thank you, Senator. Also permit me to extend deepest condolences to the family of Vivian Felix, who died in an incident in St. David, and his death brings us face to face with the dangers sometimes faced by farmers. And I urge all you farmers to be extremely careful. Sometimes you take it for granted that farming is a safe enterprise. It has its dangers. To his family, I extend deepest condolences. I did not grow up in the agricultural sector. In fact, I grew up as a young boy whose first interaction with the agricultural sector were the banana trucks with full compression coming down Lothers Lane in St. George's where I lived, full of bananas heading for the port. Also listening to Mike Noel, my friend, on the radio show Banana Man, describing things like Gros Michel and Lacatan, which I only recently got to know what these terms meant and mean today. But even then, I had many friends at the GBSS who spoke of the importance of the sector for them. In fact, recently one school friend chatting with me reminisced about picking up nutmegs in a pool in St. John's to get spending money for school. I say this to reinforce the point that the agricultural sector has been the foundation on which thousands of families have survived, sent their kids to school, and lifted themselves out of poverty. As you may have heard, the Ministry of Agriculture has branded 2021 as the year of organization and production. It reflects our considered view that with better organization of both our human and material resources, we can increase production and increase agriculture's contribution to national development. While we continue to lobby for increased resource allocation to the sector, it is our view that given the impact of COVID-19 on government revenues, we have to become better organized and more efficient. Friends, COVID-19 is both a challenge and an opportunity. It is a challenge from the standpoint of both fall in market demand for agricultural products and the loss of government revenues. But it is an opportunity in that all of Grenada has had an awakening about the importance of the agricultural sector. We therefore have the wind of public opinion at our backs, and this is a golden opportunity we must not squander. According to data from the GCNA, nutmeg production was 1,042,043 pounds in 2020. Sales in that period was $8,642,045. Given the many challenges of the past year, and we heard some of them from my dear brother Cato, this is very commendable. With increased collaboration between the GCNA and the ministry and the government, we can improve production and grow sales over the next few years. Comrades, as I traversed Grenada over the last 4 months, I have been able to speak to the farmers about the challenges they face. And while nutmeg has its own peculiarities, some of these challenges are common to all farmers. Among them is the issue of predial larceny, a scourge that must be addressed more effectively than we have done to this point. I have listened to some of the stories that farmers relate about their experiences in this regard. And what is most worrying is that many of them are contemplating leaving farming as a result of predial larceny. Nutmeg farmers are not spared from this menace. Hence, addressing predial larceny is important for the well-being of the nutmeg subsector as it is for other subsectors that are more affected. While the government has made significant steps in this regard, particularly the passage of the Predial Larceny Act, much more has to be done. We at the ministry met with the Assistant Commissioner of Police only last week on this matter, and I assure you that new initiatives will be rolled out soon. We cannot allow a small group of parasitic thieves to undermine the national development of this country. Another major issue to nutmeg farmers is access to farms. In fact, one farmer indicated to me that solving the problem of access could raise nutmeg production in the country by 20%, and my brother Cato alluded to just that. In her address to you last year, Minister Horsford announced the signing of a $46.8 million contract for the construction of 11 roads and 2 bridges under the Feeder Road Phase 2 project. This project will improve access to hundreds of acres of agricultural lands. In addition to this, the SIRE project is moving forward with the planned rehabilitation of 10 farm roads. I have met with both SIRE and the contractor for the Feeder Roads Phase 2 project, and I urge them to accelerate the implementation of these road projects in order to make maximum use of the favorable conditions in the dry season. In addition, we are discussing partnerships with contractors to assist in a voluntary basis with the clearing of some roads in areas where they may have assets involved in other work. So far, the responses have been positive. I see my brother Fullerton here from St. Patrick, in fact, in Barrick, where I visited and was amazed. One of my early visits, I had discussions with one of the contractors in the area, and I must report that they are moving ahead. We're waiting for the dry season. And what we are saying here is that where some of the assets are and where persons have received contracts from the government, we are asking them to voluntarily use these assets to clear some of the lands, clear some of the roads, and give access to the lands without any cost to you or to the government. On the issue of the Farm Labor Support Program, I must admit that we've had mixed results. While some farmers have been absolutely satisfied and have expressed this to me personally, others have voiced a dissatisfaction with some aspects of the implementation of the program. Following extensive discussions with the farmers and ministry officials, we have agreed to make some significant adjustments to the program. These adjustments will be in the area of worker training and allowing more farmers to use their own labor rather than the persons provided by the ministry. There is general consensus that the program is an excellent one, but the workers need to be better trained in order to competently execute the tasks they are contracted to fulfill. With assistance from the Extension Division of the Ministry of Agriculture, workers in the program will be equipped with the training in areas needed by the farmers. In addition to a reconstructed farm labor support program, the ministry, through the agronomy division, is preparing 30,000 nutmeg plants to expand nutmeg cultivation and replace old or dead trees. An area of excitement for me is the agro-industrial possibilities we have in Grenada. In this regard, I must applaud the GCNA for their work in the area of value-added and agro-processing. I was pleased when I met with GCNA to be presented with a basket of some of the lovely products when I met with the team. These included sausage, jams, condiments, and I hear the pepper sauce is among the best. At least that's what my dear brother Sinclair told me. This is fair. I see some of them here this morning, and I urge you to please ensure that everybody knows about them. This is a sphere of the agricultural sector that must be invested in if we are to maximize the incomes of our farmers. We cannot, and we've said this for decades, we cannot continue to be exporters of raw materials and importers of manufactured goods. Adding value to our agricultural products is an economic and patriotic imperative. I urge you to continue along this path. I know it requires large amounts of investments, and it is in this regard that the government, through me, will make every effort to assist. I have said time and time again that our own business community must invest more in the added value component of the agricultural sector. Government will continue to offer incentives to attract such investments. I have made preliminary inquiries into the possibility of investments into agro-processing being funded by our CBI program, and I will continue to pursue this avenue. If we are to continue on the path of developing and modernizing the agricultural sector in general and the nutmeg industry in particular, we must find ways to attract the youth. And again, that was alluded to this morning. In collaboration with the Ministry of Youth and we in the Ministry of Agriculture are working on the Youth in Agriculture initiative. The allocation of land through the Land Bank program, along with finding new and innovative financing arrangements, are all at the core of this initiative. On February 19, 2021, a comprehensive proposal for supporting youth in agriculture initiatives will go before the Board of CARICOM Development Fund for review and approval. We are pursuing all of these initiatives because many youth who are interested in getting into agribusiness are challenged with respect to land and financing. And with respect to the comments made by the chairman, I absolutely agree in terms of where our young people are headed. In fact, you mentioned me becoming a farmer. I was amazed. My own son, I bought some land some years ago, and during COVID, he just took up the challenge and went to the farm every morning at 5 o'clock, and he's still doing that up to today because he absolutely fell in love with it. In fact, there are members in the audience who I gave a tour of the small farm, and they see the work that he's been doing. Again, I do believe we can attract youth, but we have to ensure that we create an environment where young people will come to the industry. They will not come to the industry unless we create an enabling environment for them, and that is what we are trying to do with the Youth in Agriculture program. Another critical component of the initiative is the use of technology in agriculture and new methods for enhancing productivity. We hope the nutmeg industry will join us to make this initiative a success. With the introduction of the new smart greenhouse under the Chinese agricultural mission, we expect many young people will take a keen interest in the agricultural sector in general and the nutmeg sector in particular. I am pleased to report that the GCNA and GCA both received grants of $1 million from the government of Grenada in December. It is a clear manifestation of government's recognition of the importance of the industry and its continued support of nutmeg farmers. Discussions are continuing on the finalization of the $2 million loan component, and hopefully this will be concluded very soon. I am assured, having spoken to the Ministry of Finance several times this week, that this can be done as early as next week. In fact, I've been informed that the checks are already cut, meaning the checks are made out and will be delivered once some I's are dotted and some T's are crossed this week. Additionally, the GCNA and the GCA have received grant support under the Agricom project. The associations and the participating farmers will obtain approximately $1.3 million in support from the Agricom project. I am pleased to inform the participating farmers that systems are now in place for providing them the support agreed to within the project, that is the Agricom project. Friends, there have been much public discussions on the issue of GCNA-GCA merger and the liberalization of the nutmeg and cocoa industries. In my meetings with the boards of both organizations, I indicated to them that these issues remain important now as they ever were. I believe, based on my own discussions with farmers and looking at meetings of several meetings held, there is a strong view that a merger of the organizations along a construct to be agreed upon is both desirable and possible. However, preliminary steps must be agreed on and implemented before a merger can be achieved. But the efficiencies resulting from this has already been seen in the workings of both organizations. Issues such as that mentioned by the chairman, the issues of assets and shareholding. These issues have to be addressed before other issues, and we recognize that. In fact, when I went to the meetings of both boards, I said, let us reset the button and start discussions on a new platform, and I am pleased to announce that I believe that based on this new process, we can come to some agreement. On the issue of liberalization, much more discussions have to be held, beginning with a clear definition of what we mean by liberalization with respect to the industry, the farmers, and Grenada. As I said to both boards, the good of the industry, the farmers, and Grenada as a whole is paramount. And it is my view that we can achieve this through discussions. Let us discuss these issues and find a resolution through a negotiated approach that is best for all. In fact, I have said that agricultural development in Grenada is a partnership. It is important to you, it is important to Grenada, it is important to the future generations. As you are aware, ladies and gentlemen, comrades, the government of Grenada has received technical assistance from the FAO under a three-country technical assistance program entitled Creation of an Enabling Environment for Agriculture Risk Insurance, a critical element in the nutmeg industry. Over the last 2 years, significant work has gone into the development of a risk insurance product that would provide cover to the cocoa and nutmeg subsectors following severe wind events. In the next few days, the ministry will send written correspondence to the GCA and the GCA detailing the way forward on this initiative. Rest assured that the ministry, the government, and the government by extension is absolutely committed to launching this risk insurance product for the nutmeg and cocoa subsectors in 2021. Brothers and sisters, the future of agriculture in Grenada depends on the continued evolution of the industry to meet the new demands of the environment in which we live. The world is rapidly evolving with new technologies and new approaches. We in Grenada are not isolated from these constantly changing factors. Climate change is affecting how we farm and what we produce. We must adapt to this reality if we are to sustain the sector. The SIAD project and the GEF-funded Climate Resilient Agriculture for Integrated Landscape Management are just two of the initiatives that will support our efforts in adapting to climate change. Friends, the great basketball player and coach John Wooden once said, if we fail to adapt, we fail to move forward. The nutmeg industry must adapt to the present times if progress is to be made and greater benefits are to be accrued to its stakeholders. As Minister for Agriculture, I commit my support and that of the government to the nutmeg industry and to the agricultural sector as a whole. Thank you, and may God bless you.